When Cooper Kupp went on the IR with a hamstring injury, everyone expected the Rams to be a dumpster fire, the same way they ended last season. But that's not the case so far. Matthew Stafford looks like his old self, and a young, shining star has emerged to replace the production vacated by Kupp's absence. Puka Nacua was drafted this year in the 5th round and is on pace through 4 games to set several records, not just for rookies, but NFL records at the wide receiver position. He leads the league in targets and yards after the catch and is second in receptions. He also just made the walk-off touchdown catch in overtime to win this week. He's turned the season expectations around quickly in LA. The Rams are known for giving up their top draft picks for veterans in the Sean McVay era. They haven't made a selection in the first round since 2016 when they drafted Jared Goff. They traded away picks for players like Jalen Ramsey, Brandon Cooks, Marcus Peters, Dante Fowler, Von Miller, and of course, Matthew Stafford. They started a trend in the NFL that led the Broncos to trade for Russell Wilson and the Eagles to go after A.J. Brown. This has led people to believe that their Super Bowl window is closing due to aging stars and not enough young depth to have long-term success. This season was even viewed as a throwaway year with Cooper Kupp being hurt, Stafford coming back from injury, and trade rumors were running rampant. But their young star in the making has the Rams 2-2 with hopes of Kupp returning soon. I think when Kupp returns, he'll see quite a few number 17 jerseys in the arena alongside his own. Puka came seemingly from out of nowhere, but if you turn on his college tape and look up his stats, then you'll see productivity is just what he's all about. In his 2 seasons at BYU, he was used all over the field, both outside and in the slot, even out of the backfield. He had 5 rushing touchdowns as a senior. He was a little more of a deep threat in college, averaging 16.3 yards per reception for his career, peaking at 24 yards per reception as a freshman at Washington. He was also a team captain at BYU, which was something that was being prioritized by the Rams in the 2023 draft, taking 9 out of 13 players with that same distinction. His greatest asset, though, is his toughness. His injury history is well documented, which contributed to his fall in the 5th round, but he came back every single time, stronger and more determined than before. He never gives up on a play or a ball when it's in the air. He pushes through contact to gain every last yard he can. His contested catch prowess was praised by his college coaches. Coming out of the draft, one coach stated he's the best I've ever seen at those contested catches, saying he has a unique ability to be playing at a really high speed and find the ball in flight, then adjust his body with relationship to where the defender is and come down with it. To be so highly praised with stats to back it up, it was a little surprising to see him still on the board so late in the draft weekend. This leads me to my next point. He only fell down draft boards due to the checkered injury history I mentioned and a less than stellar combine where he ran a 4.57 40-yard dash. He was actually coming back from a recent injury, but he's such a competitor and felt the need to show NFL teams that he was healthy enough to play. He did well in the skill test, but the speed and athleticism test, he just couldn't compete at the top because he wasn't 100%. His 40 time stands in stark contrast to the fact that last week he hit 21.05 miles per hour on the field, according to Yahoo Sports. That puts him as one of the top 10 fastest ball carriers so far this season. He plays significantly faster than his 40 time, has elite hands, and is tough as nails. He's playing the Robert Woods role in the Sean McVay offense as well. He's primarily outside and running deeper routes, while Tutu Atwell has played the Kupp role in the slot and over the middle. This leads me to believe that when Kupp returns, the productivity should only take a slight hit for Puka. The Rams offense might be on its way to being a top 10 or better scoring unit. But all of this is possible because the Rams front office hit a jackpot on a 5th round pick. He's accounted for more than a third of the receiving yards on the team. There are other pieces to the puzzle, but if Puka isn't playing, then the Rams are at best 1-3 right now, and the discussion turns towards Stafford trades and a complete rebuild. However, they'll be in the thick of the wildcard race throughout the season, and once you're in the playoffs, then having a veteran Super Bowl champion quarterback can make all the difference. So what are the odds of landing a 1,000-yard wide receiver on day 3 of the draft? I think it's pretty safe to say that Puka is on his way to a 1,000-yard season, considering he's nearly at 400 through 4 games. So let's set that as the benchmark. In the history of the NFL, there have only been 27 receivers to hit 1,000 yards as a rookie. Only 3 of those players were taken in the 4th round or later. The most recent player to do it was Marcus Colston of the Saints. So this hasn't happened since 2006. So if you consider that in the history of the NFL, there's been 3 players ever to achieve that milestone with similar draft capital credentials, then you can understand how big of a deal it is for the Rams to get this selection so right. It can be a franchise-altering selection to not just have 1, but 2 top-tier wide receivers. This franchise is no stranger to a gunslinging quarterback with 2 all-pro weapons on the outside. Is this a second coming to the greatest show on turf? I think that if they can stay healthy, maintain Puka's role, and work Kupp back in slowly, then this group could be built for long-term success. Sean McVay pondered retirement after last season, as I'm sure he has plenty of TV opportunities, but perhaps Puka can reignite his fire and this fan base and get the Rams back to the promised land.